RetroDaze.
You wake to a cool breeze rushing through your open bedroom window, and the world smells like a bounteous harvest. The scents fill your soul as images of apples and pumpkins cascade over a mountain of candy which pours from an enormous treat bag in the auburn sky. You're still in bed with your eyes closed, and yet you smile as these wonderful images fill you up. You breathe the season into your lungs and hold them like an elixir, wishing the days could always feel like an autumnal masquerade. For this is Halloween, and the darkened streets of trick-or-treating await. The sad truth is, you probably had to go to school on Halloween. Sure, there were those rare occasions the holiday actually landed on a weekend, but otherwise you were relegated to the stale, chalk, dust-covered hallways of academia for the majority of the day. While this at first may have seemed like a cruel joke, sometimes the suddenly festive atmosphere wore off on the administration, leading to one of the best days of the school year, not counting half days and last days. For instance, many elementary schools allowed and even encouraged attending in costume. Wandering from class to class, surrounded by pumpkin people, witches, popular television characters, ghosts, and all manner of beastly creatures was a thing to behold. When you were out on a dark sidewalk on Halloween night, costumes were expected, but seeing these same elaborate get-ups in the lighted corridors of your school was somehow otherworldly. Die-cut decorations and orange streamers may have decorated those same haunted hallways, adding to the spooky sense that this school was not the same one you normally attended. If you had particularly cool teachers, you'd spend the day solving Halloween word-find puzzles and listening to your teachers read spooky tales while you and your classmates munched on ghoulish treats. Elementary school crafts were often the best part of any school day, and when Halloween rolled around, many educators seized the opportunity to create themed projects. You might create pumpkins from balled-up tissue paper glued to oak tag cutouts, or you made little hanging ghosts on fishing line. And through it all, a spooky sounds cassette or record playing in the background. Even the lunch ladies would get in on the action with zombie brain sloppy joes or fried skeleton fingers. If you were really lucky, you might even leave the school that day with a bag of candy that you'd happily add to the haul later that night. No matter how hard your teachers tried to make Halloween special, though, when that final bell rang, you no doubt did your best impression of a rocket ship and blasted right the heck out of there. The school day is over. You've abandoned your backpack and homework in a dusty corner of your room, and even though trick-or-treating doesn't start for a few hours, it feels like there's nowhere near enough time to prepare. After an early dinner of sausage eyeballs and spaghetti worms, you flee for the bedroom where a costume waits. While many kids in the 80s opted for the Ben Cooper or Collegeville-style costumes, at some point you began to enjoy the creepier side of Halloween, and there were plenty of options beyond the plastic mask and vinyl smock ensemble. After much consideration, you ended up purchasing one of those monster makeup kits that came with adhesive, latex prosthetics, face paints, and the all-important fake blood. Your parents argued for something a little less disgusting? But nope, you were almost 12 years old and had realized Halloween was supposed to be scary and kinda gross. It took a lot longer to apply all the various components, and much to your dismay, you even had to enlist the help of your dad. But it was so totally worth it. You jump out and scream as your friends enter the front door. They all laugh it off as if they weren't scared, but you know better. The night is off to a perfect start. That is, until your dad saunters over to the group of friends in his standard Frankenstein's monster getup and smiles dumbly. Oh no, he thinks he's coming. You quickly pull your father aside and explain how you were hoping to go, without him? He looks momentarily disappointed and checks with your mom before saying, "Just don't leave the neighborhood." Outside, distant screams and comical howls arrest your forward momentum. You close your eyes against the evening sky and savor what will otherwise be a fleeting moment in the long year. Young though you are, you're also keenly aware that this night will fly past like a witch on her broom, and if you're not careful, you might miss the magic. So, as you catch up with your friends, you let your eyes linger on the glowing jack-o'-lanterns, some goofy and smiling, others grim and snarling. You allow the many and varied decorations around you to sink in as indelible memories. You approach the first house. There was a small group ahead of you, so the Millers are already at the door, holding a giant bowl and smiling as if giving away free candy was their absolute favorite thing to do in the world. The weirdos. Your group wastes no time and exclaims, "Trick or treat!" Mrs. Miller holds out the bowl and says, "Pick 2 items each." Suckers, you think, as your friends grab overflowing handfuls of candy and run away laughing. Your old teacher, Mrs. Douglas, lives in the next house over. She's not dressed up, but that doesn't matter one lick because she's one of those fabled houses who gives away full bars. You suspect she does it so her former students don't egg her house. Still, Mrs. Douglas knows the score, and rather than offer the bowl, she asks, "Which one would you like?" You go for the bar none. Duh. As you approach the sidewalk again, a group of older kids come running while screaming their heads off. They trail toilet paper and are spraying cars with shaving cream. One of them races toward your group, brandishing an egg, but the throw goes wild and splatters in Mrs. Douglas's front yard. With the danger past, you continue to the next house, which glows like a Halloween beacon. Every inch of the front yard is covered with fake graves, zombies, and fog machines creating a low-lying mist. A scary sound soundtrack plays from some nearby speakers and lends the entire property a particularly haunted appeal. Danny knocks on the door and it creaks open, revealing a darkened corridor. Eventually, you manage to peep trick or treat? A man jumps into the doorway and bellows, "It's alive! Alive!" He laughs and says, "Sorry kids, it's Halloween. Everyone's entitled to one good scare." He hands over little paper Halloween treat bags that are stapled shut. The next house is just as festive as the last, but leans more heavily on the autumnal elements rather than the scary Halloween ones. A couple answers the door in pilgrim outfits and the wife says, "Oh my, look at all the wonderful costumes. Would you kids like some hot apple cider?" You all agree and are gifted small paper cups filled with the steaming beverage ladled straight from a slow cooker. There are even floating pieces of dried apple slices and cranberries in it. You leave with more handfuls of candy and a belly full of autumn. As the night continues, the houses start to blend together. It's all trick-or-treating, handfuls of candy, and rushing off to the next house, and the next, and the next. As the group course corrects and heads back in the direction of your house, you all begin digging in the bags of endless treats, trading candy, and comparing the hauls. Everyone has at least a handful of coins intermingling with the loose candy corn. You attempt pawning off circus peanuts and Smarties for literally anything else, but there aren't any takers. When you arrive back home, your friends' parents are waiting and you all wish each other a happy Halloween before you retreat to the living room where a scary movie is playing on the television. You dump your bag and sort through the year's take. Peanut butter kisses and their black and orange wrappers litter the floor like confetti. There are full bars, treat bags, coins, plastic spider rings, some Halloween stickers, tons of mini candy bars of all varieties, Fun Dip, Twizzlers, Tootsie Rolls, Monster Finger Puppets, Hubba Bubba Gum, and so much more. Your eyes boggle, your mind reels. Your mom says, "Only one piece, then get that gunk off your face." Oh, Ma. You head to the bathroom and attempt to peel the latex off your face. The resulting scream is enough to wake the dead. You should have stuck with a mask. Welcome back, friends, from your nostalgic trick-or-treating experience. I hope you had fun reliving those lost memories of decorations, costumes, candy, and scares. What are some of your best trick-or-treating memories? What were your favorite things to find in the old treat bag? What was your favorite costume? I'd love to hear about it down in the comments. And if you enjoy our content, please consider liking this video, subscribing to the channel, and maybe even activating that ubiquitous notification bell. It really does make a huge difference. Let's meet again next week to celebrate yesteryear, right here on RetroDaze.
Clicky, clicky.